My name is Dr. Greg L. Alston, and I want you to stop for a second and think. What is the biggest problem many of you are facing today? I'm going to suggest that for a lot of you, this problem revolves around work. Either you don't have the job you want, or you aren't happy with the way your existing job is working out. Well, I promise if you stay in touch for the next few minutes, I will tell you what you can do to solve this problem. Who am I, and why should you listen to me? Well, I am a college professor, so I ask you to listen to me in spite of that, because I also earlier in my career worked my way up through several large retail companies to become a retail regional supervisor of more than 100 stores. I was in management at 3 different large companies before starting and running my own multi-million-dollar drugstore and durable medical equipment business. And I am a pharmacist and an author who has supervised thousands of employees over the years and worked for hundreds of different bosses. And as you can see, I'm not a young kid pretending that I know what I'm talking about and sitting in my underwear creating a YouTube video. I've lived long enough and screwed up enough to be able to speak to you from real experience about what works in the marketplace to create success. And for fun, I coached nationally ranked fast-pitch softball teams for over 10 years. So I know that what I'm going to tell you works in business, works in life, and works in sports. Okay? So basically, here is the problem as I see it. We are experiencing a crisis in leadership. A lot of people have given up believing there is nothing they can do about it. There's a lot of whining and complaining, and I'm sick of it. I'm going to tell you what you can do about this lousy leadership. We don't know who to trust anymore. It looks like our guys are acting like their guys, and their guys are acting like our guys, and no one seems to be acting in our best interests. So it's time to step up and learn to lead before it's too late. And that is a big problem. If you believe that you have no control, then you won't. Your perception will become your expectation, and you will begin acting like a sheep rather than a person with free will. Once you give up control to the very people who caused you to give up. Good people disengaging is the recipe for bad people doing whatever they want. So I believe that what you do is more important. You have control over 100% of your thoughts and actions. If you give up, you begin acting like a person who doesn't care. But if you tell yourself that you're not going to give up, you will act like a different kind of person. The difference is simply, how do you want to deal with it? How do you want to deal with this poor leadership we're experiencing? Okay, bad leaders are destroying our economy. Bad leaders act like bad leaders for one of 3 reasons. First, they might lack basic leadership skills. Second, they might know what they're supposed to do, but they're simply a selfish jerk. And third, they're fundamentally evil people. In any case, we have a problem, regardless of the cause. And this bad leadership is happening in government, in industry, in the nonprofit sector. Nobody out there is immune. We have politicians getting rich on tax dollars. We've got businessmen cooking the books to boost their stock price. We have charity leaders living like millionaires with lavish lifestyles. And we have coaches abusing their players, beating them on camera. Our leaders have lost their way. When the economy is booming, the sins of these kind of jerks are overcome by the productivity of good people. But when the economy stalls, as it has since 2008, this crisis of leadership is exposed. The economy relies on small businesses to provide jobs and create middle-class wealth, and bad leadership is making that very, very difficult. For a lot of reasons. First of all, the government is way too involved in micromanaging businesses. That negative energy that they create is compounded with the poor business leadership, and we have a disaster in the making. Bad leaders create stupid taxation policies. Bad tax policies reward the wrong behavior, and then bad bosses are making stupid decisions based on bad policies. As jobs are lost, there are fewer taxpayers paying in, more people in need of assistance, and the downward spiral spins, creating a whirlwind of outsourcing, downsizing, layoffs. The result is that good people are thrown out of work. But I'm not here to talk about politics. I don't want to be known as that talk radio rant host guy that talks about what the politicians should be doing, because I don't care what they do. I believe that the greatness of our society springs from the resolve of its citizens, and I believe it's up to us to stop whining and start taking action. We must change what we are willing to accept from these leaders. I'm here to explain to you what this negative energy circulating is all about, and I'm here to tell you what you can do about it. Okay, let me explain. The ability of a bad boss, bad leader, bad leadership to suck the life, energy, joy, and enthusiasm out of your workplace is something I call the BossHole Effect. In any organization, the employees look to their leaders for guidance. The leader's behavior can either reinforce the values of the organization or create confusion and discord. If the leaders provide clear direction, the group is much more likely to succeed. People join an organization because they want to be involved in something good and doing good work. And if they are actively engaged in creating success, everybody wins. And creating an engaged, energetic workforce or work team is not that difficult. Employees just want 3 simple things from their employer, from their company, from their government. They want to know that the work they are doing is important. It needs to be done. They want to believe that they are good at what they do. And they want to know that the company appreciates the time and effort they are putting in to help the organization achieve its goals. So what drives the BossHole Effect? Again, it's very simple. If your company does not offer a product or service to the world that the world wants or needs, you are in trouble because your employees know when your product's crap and they act like it. If you don't give your employees the opportunity to develop excellence at what they do, you are in trouble. Your employees know when you don't care if they do a good job or not. And third, if you don't respect your employees' time and efforts on your behalf, you are in trouble. Your employees know when you don't respect them as key stakeholders in the business. Okay? There are so many boss holes running organizations today that mediocrity has become normal. Bad leadership is more common than good leadership. One crappy company survives, not because it is great, because it is less crappy than their competitors. These boss holes running these companies don't understand the difference between a shopper and an engaged customer. Okay? A shopper buys something from you. An engaged customer is a passionate advocate for your business. Engaged customers tell their friends to buy from you. Boss holes do not understand that engaged employees create engaged customers. And engaged customers is what creates successful companies. So this is my simple message to you. Unless you want to have your life controlled by these boss holes for the rest of time, you need to make a change. And that change is you need to learn to lead correctly. Many people believe that leaders are born, not made. I can't be a leader. And that's flat out wrong. Anybody can learn to lead by just following a few simple steps that I talk about in my blog. And don't fall into the trap of thinking that you don't need to pay attention to this because you work for a good company. You have a great boss. Let me give you an example. I once worked for an awesome company. I loved the management. I loved my boss. I loved what they did. I loved the values of the business. I had a ton of opportunities to move up the ladder in management to get more opportunities to succeed. Then the company got bought. Not once, but 3 times within the next 4 years. The entire management team changed over. Each time I got further away from success. Everything changed in a heartbeat. The reality is this, folks. The only job security that you have is the ability to go out and do something that somebody is willing to pay you for. Nobody is going to ask your permission to buy or sell their company. So here's what you need to do to protect yourself and your families. You need to learn to identify boss holes. And you will be able to do this using a very simple rating tool that I'm going to let you use for free. It's called the BossHole Effect Boss Rating System. And there are 2 versions. One is to rate a current or former boss, and one is to rate yourself to make sure you're not slipping into boss hole behavior. 2, you need to be able to neutralize the effect of boss holes on your life, and that will require constant diligence. You will need to subscribe to my blog and subscribe to my YouTube channel to stay up on current activities. And when all else fails, you need to exercise your right as a free individual, not a sheep, and refuse to work for a boss hole. Just imagine for a minute. Think what would happen if every employee laboring under the thumb of some bully boss hole would simply write a short note to the company president saying something like this: I believe in the vision and mission of this organization. However, my boss, Mr. Bosshole, has made this workplace intolerable. His behavior has indicated to me that he believes what we're doing is not important and that I'm no good at it and that he or she doesn't care whether I work here. This lack of respect undermines the credibility of this organization, and I would compromise my integrity to remain employed under these conditions. Unless you remove Mr. Bosshole from this supervisory position, I will no longer be able to work for this company. If I do not hear from you within 1 week, I'll be forced to make a decision that is in my own best interest. Thank you very much. Yada, yada. Oh, by the way, you'll lose out on the 15 years of experience I've given to the organization. Okay, so I wonder how many organizations would be forced to deal with the problems that they have in leadership that they already know exist if they got 100 of these letters about a certain boss or boss hole. If employees simply refused to work for these knuckleheads, the organizations would be forced to change. Of course, I understand. The economy is tough. Jobs are tough right now. They're tough to come by. So this is a really idealistic wish, right? However, once again, the response is up to you. If you want to be fatalistic and say, hey, there's nothing I can do about it, then that's what will happen. But if you're not in a position to quit because you need the money, you need the job, you're taking care of your family, or you don't have another source of income to make up for it, then get yourself in a position to make a better income before you quit. If your company refuses to treat you fairly, then go start your own business. Do it right. Take all their customers. If they're really that bad, it won't be hard to beat them in the marketplace. As a supervisor and an employer who has supervised thousands of employees in my career, let me make this one final point that is critical that you understand, okay? If you work for a crappy company, do not whine and complain about it. Let me tell you what I mean. A lot of people fall into the trap of beginning to do poor quality, sloppy work because they work for a bad company. They justify this crappy performance with, well, the company doesn't care, so why should I? And what you have just done, if you act like that, is you make yourself a part of the problem. Not only that, you put yourself at risk because you've allowed that positive energy that you could bring to a situation to become negative. What's worse, you've now become an underperformer who is greater risk of being laid off. Okay? You have the right to fair treatment and a safe workplace, a safe work environment, but you don't have the right to do a crappy job. If you work for a crappy company and you don't feel that you can give them your best effort, then go work for somebody else. Don't take the paycheck. But don't lower your standard of excellence to work for a crappy company. You want former coworkers remembering you as that hard-working guy who cared, not as a slacker. Many good jobs are received by referral from a friend or former coworker, okay? So here's the deal. If you accept their paycheck, you have to do the job the way they want it done. If you don't want to do it the way they want it done, don't accept the paycheck. Don't get a reputation of being a slacker, because that will follow you wherever you go. You won't be able to get rid of it. On the other hand, if coworkers see you performing stellar work in spite of being in a crappy company, you're going to be admired. And admired people get great recommendations when they need them, and they get a lot more opportunities. Believe me, a lot of the great jobs never hit the bulletin boards. They come from friend to friend. So to recap what I'm talking about, you need to take care of yourself and your family's future. Working for a BossHole will suck the energy and enthusiasm out of your life, not just your work life. You need to learn to identify the difference between a BossHole and somebody who just has a different way of doing things. You can use my free boss rating tools as often as you like. They're available on the blog. You need to continue to develop your skills so that you're always able to do something valuable in the marketplace that somebody is willing to pay you for. I explain how to do that and how you can learn to lead on the blog. And you need to be sure that you don't practice BossHole behavior yourself or let any of your friends act like BossHoles. Our motto here is, friends don't let friends become BossHoles, and they don't let their friends work for one either. So please subscribe to the YouTube channel or the blog or both, and let me know what you think. I'm having a lot of fun with a new segment I started called You Might Be a BossHole. It's kind of that Jeff Foxworthy style, you might be a redneck set of one-liners, and I'd love to hear if you think that's worth continuing or not. But remember, whether you want to own your own business or just do a better job of running your Cub Scout pack or your local homeowners association, you can learn to lead, and I would love the opportunity to teach you how to do that. Remember, friends don't let friends become BossHoles or work for one either. So please, check out the BossHole Effect blog and the YouTube channel, and definitely share this with your friends and rate your bosses using the BossHole rating tools. And remember, down with BossHoles.